Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your man Khalif Wins, and welcome to episode 5 of Making Better Tracks. Listen, this is a great show today. Nothing will stop us. No enemy is gonna try to hate on this sway right here. You understand what I'm saying? We're gonna have a great time. I am here, joined by some great content creators, but not only that, great music producers, but not only that, people with great varieties of knowledge from 3 different angles. Hands in the wrong way. Let me do it right. From 3 different angles. You know what I'm saying? First, let me give a shout out to our special guest on the Making Better Tracks show. Everybody give it up for Queen Nexus in the house. You know what I'm saying? From New York City, do you understand what I'm saying? Multi-instrumentalist, singer, songwriter, poet, artist. She got bangers. I'm telling you right now, if you understand, look her up on TikTok. You'll see the video. She got bangers. So everybody, we have a great conversation coming up with her today. Also, give it up to the co-host, Civil Days Music, Daysun. Give it up right now for Daysun right now. This brother got some videos on deck that's gonna blow your mind, and he just dropped the video recently. I'm telling you, his live streams are popping. The knowledge you're gonna get from different angles. That's why I love when Daysun's on the show. Also, last but most definitely not least, give it up to also another multi-instrumentalist, a man with skin in the game and beyond skin in the game, wisdom and headspace and a mindset to help produce worldwide. Give it up for Dccarsonmusic. And let's get to the nitty gritty of this conversation today. Today's topic is why aren't more women in hip hop production? I repeat, why aren't more women in hip hop production? And I'm gonna add my forte to this. It's just a ridiculous sausage party when it comes to music production and YouTube videos. And I don't want just one perspective. There needs to be more women in hip hop production. But let's get to the message at hand. And everybody check this video out right quick.
Hey, it's her. Did you know that only 2.8% of today's songs are produced by women? That's a problem. We need to change that. I'm working together with Bose to show women producers that they have a space in music production. I'm super passionate about this because I feel like there are so many dope women out there who are killing it at production, and they feel like they might not have the opportunity, or they feel like it's impossible because they don't see other women. Keep an eye out for more from us while we work together to turn the dial.
Yeah.
What took you to that side of the business?
Honestly, just necessity, not wanting to wait around for someone to do it for me, wanting to take it upon myself to learn those skills. I basically taught myself watching YouTube tutorials or YouTube videos or observing other engineers, doing the process, and I just kind of figured it out myself, which I think has been advantageous because I don't have to wait for someone.
Are you advocating for more women to get involved behind the scenes?
Absolutely. It's honestly shocking to me, working in this music industry, how few female engineers I've come across, female producers. I can count them on one hand.
It's a big passion of mine to kind of get more women into music production because it is such a male-dominated field. I think only 2% of all producers are women, which is crazy. So yeah, I'm actually working really closely together with Ableton and also Spotify now to kind of work on creating safe spaces.
This is the year of the female music producer because you are what you believe you are. And I think that women have been taught to believe that they are less than for a long time. And so we show up as less than. And I started producing my music at the beginning of 2022. Kind of just terrified, but also so sick of how I was just so sick of the studio environment. It's like you walk into a studio and it's like 7 dudes that you don't know, and you're supposed to just like feel comfortable to sing and like be vulnerable. Like my songs are about vulnerable things. So I started producing my own music, and when I tell you how my music went from to you can feel it. You can feel that I feel good.
And here's an example of what she's experienced as a female producer. There's no way that you produce that. That's what some people producers hear. You're actually really good at this. This is ridiculous. Guys hyperfixating over her looks and not on the music itself. That is a problem. Now, before I bring up everybody else to speak on this, and I want Queen Nexus for sure to be the first person to speak on this because she's speaking from experience. And guess what? We are not women. We can't speak from that experience. The reason I came up with this show title and really wanted to discuss this because my 8-year-old daughter, has been hounding me to turn on my MPC-X. And then she's like, oh, I want to get on your equipment. I'm going to get on equipment. Daddy, put on your equipment. Why do you always just do content videos? Just make beats, make beats. Oh, I want to make beats. She watched EDM videos. She watched drum machine videos. And I'm like, Dag, she's 8 years old. What can I do to change the waves, to be more inclusive, to listen more, and to make an impact so that by the time she's 18, she doesn't have to deal with and hear the same things that women are dealing with now when it comes to production, and that bothers the hell out of me. It's a huge worry. Let me just say this. The underrepresentation of female hip-hop producers can be attributed to various factors. Here's some possible reasons from my singular viewpoint, and I'm looking for my guests, especially Queen Nexus, to add more to these areas. I think it's 4 areas. Everybody tell me how you feel. Number 1, historical exclusion. Hip-hop has traditionally been a male-dominated, and female producers have faced barriers to entry in the industry at multiple areas. 2, gender stereotypes. Women face gender biases and stereotypes that assume that they're less capable and knowledgeable by hip-hop production compared to men, which is ridiculous. 3, and this is a big 3, industry gatekeeping. The music industry can be difficult to break into regularly, but female producers will and have and still face additional obstacles due to discrimination, sexism, and bias, just to name a few. And number 4, ridiculous cultural norms. Hip-hop culture has been historically associated with masculinity, which can make it difficult for women to find acceptance and recognition as producers. But let's bring the special guest up to the table, because again, this is the time when all men shut up and listen and hear her feedback on their experiences. Everybody give it up for Queen Nexus.
Hey everybody, I'm Queen Nexus. In the music world, I'm Queen Nexus. So my background in music production, it began like in the 5th grade using very minimal equipment. I would just beatbox on a tape recorder. And so, being a musician at heart at a very young age, I started to get into the production bag close to around junior high school when my cousin actually put me on to Fruity Loops at the time. I think it was like the end of junior high school into high school. I'm talking about 2004, 5. So since then, the journey has been kind of like crazy as a female producer. Of course, I have grown a lot in my music overall, and I actually resonate with one of the things that the girls were saying. I started making beats because I just didn't want to wait around for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already had a bunch of melodies in my head, and being a drummer, I already had, the drum loops going on in my head. I just needed a place or a way to lay those things down and make it make sense. So at that point, when I started getting into music, it was just really hard to find anybody who would mentor me at least. And because it was such a male dominated industry, I just had to like really come to a place where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just figure it out myself. And it was a lot of experimentation. And so now in my current, stage of music, making beats for artists such as local artists. My husband, he's an artist as well as myself, and a couple of other people out here in the Atlanta, where I am. So, but as far as what they're saying, I completely agree. There have been so many different experiences that I've had when it comes to, dealing with other male producers or male artists, period, or me being an artist trying to work with other producers and try to get my music out there. So not all of them were horrible, but I would say for the most part, there is that underlying, oh, you produced this, oh, you made this, like, no way kind of thing, And it's like, why should it be like that? That because I look a certain way or I'm a woman, I wouldn't know how to use Logic Pro by myself, or take a drum pad and do things with it that you never thought could be done. Like, why should that be a stigma on women? But yeah, I truly 100% agree with what each and everybody said on the panel.
Just real quick before the gentleman chime in, Queen Nexus and I met around music, and I remember when we met, she was drumming at a church I was at. I just walked up in somebody's youth group because my friend was running the youth group, and she was on the drums. I was like, "Oh, you make beats?" See, because I look at production like martial arts. Y'all know me. It's like UFC fighters and production. Production to me is a sport, and I've said this repeatedly. I'm not going to go on into that. And when I saw that she can drum, and then she, after the church was over, the church youth group was over, she started playing keys. Like, oh, she know how to play keys too. I literally lift her up, and I was like, we got to go to the studio. But the thing that sucks, a whole swarm of men of all ages, hey, you make music. And they wasn't coming for the music. And I was like, nah, I want to make music. I don't know what y'all want to make. And I was super overprotective from the first time we met. And I saw the difference. It was like, oh my God, look at her talent. Look at her skill level. I don't know how to play piano. I don't know how to play drums. We vibing. Oh, this be fire. We can make music. Whereas it was just like, what, 5 or 6 dudes surrounding you, literally. Like,
yeah, but you know me, my energy has always been like, what's up, bro? What you need? Like, not giving you no type of indication that this is what you think it is. It's not,
Yeah.
So, and I was very, guarded already. You know what I'm saying? It took you a couple of times to be like, girl, you good? Like, no. I was always guarded because I knew what kind of industry that I was going to be dealing with, or what kind of environment I would be in, whether it was church or not. Because listen,
talk about it. Talk about it
or not. Okay, like I already knew what the vibes was. But yeah, 17 years old, I believe, is when I met Khalif. Yes. 17?
Fellas?
Yeah, 17.
Dang, I feel old. You said 17. That's not even... I feel wild old. I feel mad old. Yeah. You got fellas?
DC, you want to go first?
I will refer to the awesome Daysun. I'll go after you, brother.
You got your voice sound mad crisp. Look at his voice sound mad crisp right now. He got that football announcer voice. He slow drawled it. I'll defer to you, Daysun, brother. Go ahead. Sound like Billy D. Williams in Tuskegee over here.
Me personally, I love to see women in music. I think it's cool. I have a daughter. I have an 8-year-old daughter as well. And if you go to my Instagram, you'll see her playing on the drum machine. You'll see her playing on the drums. We did this thing, like we had Just Blaze and Exhibit A, and she's killing it on the drums, and I'm her hype man, and it's just I just love to see. I feel like the same enjoyment I get out of it. Why wouldn't you think a woman would get the same out of it? It takes me back to when I found out, and this is in R&B, when Angela Winbush was producing a good portion of the records that she was singing on, but they said that she had to defer to make it like a male was producing the records. I was like, why? I'm like, those records were slamming, when you think about that. And I'm like, who says that a woman can't? I mean, come on now. Some of the best piano players are women. They get it, and songwriters, because it's the emotion that they can convey, So, and come on, we're all been involved in church now. Come on.
Don't forget Aretha.
Aretha.
Word. That's right.
Oh, man. And I love watching her videos, like the one where she's with Smokey Robinson and she's just getting down on the keys. Come on now. I love it's a couple of producers. It's one named Jazz. Like back in the day, a group of us were like, we were on social media and we would comment, and I think she won a Grammy recently. I keep telling my daughter, And I'm like, I'll pray over, and I said, you taking me to the Grammys one day? I said,
Yes.
You better manifest and pray.
Manifest that. Let's go.
I said, you're gonna be like her. I'm gonna be right in the audience. That's my baby right there. Like, shoot, no, I don't. Plus, my mother raised me like that. She didn't read that sexist stuff. Like, come on, no. Women can do a lot of things that men can do. You know.
Why you make the face like that, though?
Some things.
Some.
I got
something just popped up in my head, and I was like, "Oh Lord."
Brother DC, save Daysun right now, please, Brother DC. Come on, Billy D, DC Carson. Come on now.
So check this out. All right, so here's an interesting thing. If you were in hip hop or R&B, and you're sitting up here saying that women can't do X, Y, Z, I'm gonna ask you to take a look at Patrice Rushing. How many times y'all sample her? Mm-hmm. I mean, let's just keep it real. She phenomenal. I got a chance as a high school student to meet Joyce Irby, Climax. Man, listen, that lady discovered Dallas Austin. You got to understand that lady had an ear, and still has an ear for music, and she is phenomenal. I mean, you think about that, how that whole groove and things like that. So I would say that. Now, the only thing I want to say is, and I want to make sure it comes off right. So I'm going to start it real quick by my trade, as you know, as having almost 25 years military, and I was a helicopter pilot. You don't see many men of color as a helicopter pilot, nor women. So one time I was asked, how can we have more men of color as pilots? I said, well, you talk to men of color. And the one thing I saw a lot of, where like I mentored a lot of female pilots, women soldiers that eventually came on to be pilots. And so my point I was getting is that while I get it, I think we have to, the barriers and things that we've got to be careful is that not all things are barriers. So for example, if I had looked at it, I became a pilot in the Mississippi National Guard first. Okay, well, that's deep South. You can't get more Southern than Mississippi or Alabama. But they opened me with welcome arms. It was like, hey, that old stuff that they did, we're not working that way. We're looking for people who can do the job. And so I would say that we have to begin to say that you can do this. And then there are going to be some spaces where there's going to be friction points, but then there's going to be some place where you can't go in looking for a fight. You just got to go in and have good music, and you got to go in with the mindset when you've got a mission and keep your left and right limits focused on I'm about. And that's basically meaning I don't get into all of the other stuff like that. I'm business. I'm about the music. So it's really us as men that have been in this spaces grabbing and mentoring and saying, hey, what's going on? Like I would mentor female commanders because a lot of times they didn't get that. I was like, hey, that's a setup right there. You need to go in there and tell them X, Y, Z. And it would always shift. So I think as men, it is our job to create safe spaces, but it is our job to kind of like get in the foxhole with them and fight. It's for us to get in there and vouch. But I will also sit back and say, because one of the lady, I don't necessarily agree. I got maybe her experience to say something, but just that thing of going in and saying it's the year of the female producer. When you start, that's that left and right limits. How about you go in, and though that can be a personal ethos, you just got to be careful that you don't take it way outside of like Hank Aaron, get in there and hit the baseball, or some of those things, is that though we know there's a movement attached to it, there still it's got to be that level of proficiency that if you get into all the other stuff, when they used to just to throw things at them or say stuff to them, it'll take you off your mark. It'll take you off your spot. So you got to keep going. So that's what I would say is that this is something good, is that we encourage. And then we kind of talk to other men. I think as men, we got to go in there and vouch. We got to go, hey, the music is fire. What are you talking about?
Word.
I don't get what you said. Say. I don't understand what you're saying. And then walk in there and say, oh man, you trying to be on this? I said, no, I'm trying to be on, solid music. And again, to be able to navigate the subtle things that are in those places. Again, like I said, less than 6% of female pilots are female, and even less than that were fighter pilots. So that's kind of what I'm saying is that, you know, and they had to do a dynamic of coming in and that thing of trying to be one of the boys. I was like, you don't come in there and try to be one of the boys. You come in there and be a damn good pilot. And then let the other stuff trickle down, but you're not trying to be them. You're trying to be you. And you don't want to get into outmanning a man, that kind of stuff. Just be you, be authentic and be creative. And so that's kind of what I would say, just to summarize, is that, you know, definitely understanding the dynamics and the things that you mentioned, Frank, were just spot on. But then also to be to a point where you don't want to make it so much of a movement that now it takes away from you want to make it more of the music than a movement, though they're intertwined. But you do want to make sure that you're putting that. And as again, I'm not a woman, so I cannot tell you how to do it. And by no way, I'm more so even speaking to men with a little bit of things, but we got to vouch. We got to vouch. We got to stand. We have to be leaders in this.
Well, before anybody responds, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, and as you're talking, I'm thinking about like Wonder Girl is an amazing.
I was just about to say Wonder Girl.
Amazing. She will produce me under the table. I will go running high.
Amazing.
I've watched her produce, and I'm just like, it's amazing. So,
but
I want to
she's
say,
not a household name like Pharrell.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Or Timbaland. So that's the point that I guess is surrounded this whole thing. Why is there such a, I guess, like a shadow over people like Wonder Girl, women like Wonder Girl? She should be a household name, but she's not. She's produced for Drake. She's produced for Rihanna. She's produced for Tyler. What? Not Tyler the Creator. What was it? Travis Scott.
Yep.
A lot of these known big name artists, you know, and she's not a household name.
That was the big. This has been a hard episode for me to construct. I've talked to every host here today. I got on the phone with Daysun early. I've been stressing over this. I got on the phone with DC last week. I've been stressing this. Got on the phone twice with Queen Nexus. I'm like, it's bothering me because it's 2023. Like real talk. A skill is a skill is a skill is a skill is a skill. Think about that for a second. Listen to what DC just said. It don't matter this. Can she do the job? Real talk. I met Queen Nexus like that. I don't know how to play piano. I for sure don't know how to play drums. But as soon as we met, click, ding, I'm great with melodies. I can hum something in my mouth. Can you play what I hum? She's like, great. When can we link up? It's skill. But let's get to that. Speaking of track, girl, let's get to this part right here. Here's my top 5 favorite women in production. I want to hear what everybody's top 5 favorite women in production is on the back end. And then we're going to bring out, expose people. Maybe if you don't know about female producers, you should be checking. Number 1 for me, Missy Elliott. Nuff said. Nuff. Number 2, MIA. If y'all don't know who MIA is, look her up. Matangi is nothing to play with. EDM, hip hop, she does all styles. Number 3, Erykah Badu. If you don't know, you need to know. Number 4, I'm saying, Alicia Keys, are you for real? And number 5, Sylvia Robinson. Come on now. Known as the mother of hip hop, she produced 2 historic records, Rap is the Light and The Message. If it weren't for no woman, hip hop wouldn't be mainstream and come out the woodwork. Let's keep that a stack. Now, here's some women who produced that fire that y'all should know about. Everybody watching this. CJ Free Beats on YouTube. She's fire. I like her beats. For real. Track Girl, come on. Come on, Track Girl. How do people not know Track Girl? Tasha Couture has songwriting camps, production camps. She's produced some fire hits, and she got plaques to prove it. Beats by Melody. Please check out Beats by Melody. Her beats are fire. I'm telling y'all, I'm trying to put people that are watching this on to women in production and nothing to play with. And check this out. I took my list from 60 to this small list. There are like millions of women in hip hop production that like Queen Nexus says, why aren't people talking about them? Let's move forward. Sarah the instrumentalist. If you don't know, me and Daysun was just talking about Sarah the instrumentalist. And what did she say, Daysun? Listen, I make boom bap. And it's fire. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. Gnarly music. If you don't know about gnarly music is fire. Look up gnarly music. Her finger drumming is ridiculous. She does various styles, and she does it on multiple beat machines. Wonder Girl, we just talked about Wonder Girl. Enough said. It's Queen Effie. Listen, Queen Effie is a beast. Go to her TikTok. You will see she is fire. And that's just to name a small fraction, but that's just the point that we were making. Like what Queen Nexus says, why is it women who are in production, a household name like Pharrell and Timbaland, think about it from a skill level. All right, let's put it this way. If the industry is super struggling, if the industry is looking for new viral hits, why is studios filled with just mostly men? Think about that. If you're looking for streaming hits, why are you just going to remove a whole gender of importance? If I was a record label, I'd be like, listen, I'm going to have 30 of the most fire female producers in the world, and we're going to take over. We're going to take over, not because it's a gimmick, because if the whole industry is going left, what's the marketable best monetized practices to go right and go hard? Because I'm going to say this, I'm going to separate myself from the bunch. I grew up DJing, and I always use this as an analogy. If it wasn't for women, DJs would be out of business. Why? Simple exercise. Ask any guy, hey, you want to go to a club? Yes, there's not going to be any women there. I'm good. I'm good. Number two, women have an ear for music, and I've been begging Queen Nexus to DJ. They have an ear for music that men do not have. They have a style that men do not have. Again, we are put in this earth to like literally bless each other with skills and things that we're good at. It's like a good football team. It's like a good UFC gym. It's like a good anything. It's like a good band. Why would somebody, and these people still in the industry still say, oh, she's a girl. Oh, she's a woman. Bro, she got beats. Who cares? I don't care. She was trans. I don't care sexual preference. I don't care what you are. You glow in the dark, but you can make a fire beat in an NPC. Come to my house. Glow in the dark over here in this studio. Let's just knock out some heat. You understand what I'm saying? But real talk.
Check this out. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I just want to say one line. Real talk. Let's keep it simple to anybody watching this. Why is gender being utilized to block skill when every studio and every singer, every record label needs skill? That's foolish to me. Go ahead, DC. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna tell you something I saw. Now, of course, it was a small point of my life where I was a police officer, and going through the academy, there was this young lady that was tough. And they would sit back and say stuff to her, like, everybody, because we were doing combatives, and everybody was around saying, hey, stop being a P word, stop being a little P, stuff like that.
Thank you.
They got
Thank you. We're on YouTube. I appreciate you, brother. I had to edit that. Right. Thank you. We on YouTube. Right. Thank you so much.
Right. So they were saying that. So you know what? After a while, she sat back and said, let me tell y'all something. She said, y'all keep using that word, but you're using it wrong. She said, because at the end of the day is, what men have is testicles. She said the P's is tough. We could put babies out of it, all kind of stuff. So that's tough. It's your balls that are not. And she shut that's sensitive. And she shut everything down. And I sat there and said, you know what? She's right. We tried to sit there and use something when that's a strength. Women have strength. Women endure things. Women that go through something like when I tell men, stuff is that, man, listen, your wife could die giving kids. So how dare you not be in there and go get up in the morning and how dare you not, take care of the diapers and stuff like that. You got to understand that it's a serious gift is what I say to women. That's something you just don't give to anybody. But the thing is as men, just like that statement that was said, we have to say stuff when people are saying, you being soft, stop being a little girl or stuff like that. No, we have to change our language, because if we're going to be leaders, that means we have to say things that sometimes other men may not understand, but eventually they'll respect. I think sometimes we want to hang into a club when it's 2023. There is no club of humanity, period. That's how we have to look at that. So inviting them, like I'm trying to get people, like I'm still trying to figure out how. We already know, like when people say stuff, having a conversation, say, listen, I'm just gonna tell you right now, they probably ain't gonna be no Timberland without Missy Elliott.
That's a
because
fact.
she's riding. You better understand that.
100%.
And when you begin to start going down the teams, the stuff that went down in music, then you can begin to sit back and say, women have been there all the time. We just wasn't listening. We just weren't listening. And now is that time to sit back and say, hey, why doesn't she get a chance? Why doesn't she? I hired somebody that female people didn't know. No, it needs to be. I was like, no. She did the best job anybody has ever done, and she's still doing great. Why? Because she had greatness in it. So that's all I'm you're going to always hear me keep saying the common theme, and I'm saying this, etc. Is that look around, women have been there, and we have to begin to say that. Another thing is women are strong. It's not saying, let's not get into this thing where one is stronger than the other. It's just a different strength, but it's still an equitable and needed strength.
Mm-hmm. Daysun?
Yeah, you know what? I also think, I look at it like this. You know, I wonder if it's the industry. So let's think about it like this. First of all, before I mention this person's name, I love her backstory. Because when they talk about her backstory, when they talk about Nicki Minaj's backstory, they say she didn't sleep around. She was serious about her job. And they said that's why she's on top today, because she took this thing serious. And it's like she worked hard in it. But why does it always have to be one? You know what I mean? One at a time. I feel like they pit women against each other, you know, instead of allowing them to come up. I feel like if there was an all-girl collective that came out and they could push themselves to the forefront, it would be amazing. You know, it makes you think about like Black Girls Rock and things like that. And one guy who people don't champion as much is Prince. Prince always pushed women out to the forefront. He always made sure, I mean, they were in his band, they played, they wrote, they produced, he supported them. And I have to give Michael Jackson credit too, because he did some of the same things with his guitar players and his drummers and things like that. So I think it's women keep pushing themselves out there. I have to say we're in the season of the woman. I don't care what no one says. We're in the season and the movement of the woman. If you look throughout all industries, women are starting to dominate these industries. And so as long as they keep pushing, as long as they keep thriving, they're going to crack the surface. When you look at the not just the Grammys, when you look at, you know, all the award shows, those for movies as well, you see women winning all kinds of awards, directorial awards, you know, screenplay and design, things of that nature. I just think it's cracking through the surface and remaining consistent. But sometimes it's also who you align with. And when you align with the right person, then the sky's the limit. And in that case, that right there doesn't even matter per gender. It's just aligning with the right person and showing your gifts and talents. And I think sometimes people don't, you get afraid, you can get intimidated. What will people think about me? How will people feel about me? But as long as you keep pushing, she's going to be, I told y'all, I'm going to the Grammys one day. Yes. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be, and she's going to take me there too. I wish I could get my other two because they could sing too. But I'm going to be right there in that row. They're going to like, who's that man? Who's that old man in the back screaming? I'm like, that's me. That's me. My baby's taking me there.
Queen Nexus, please, you have the floor.
Everybody said everything that was going on in my head. We definitely need more representation, but I believe that we are making great strides in the music industry, as well as he mentioned film. We have been definitely trying our best. And I know you also mentioned Nicki Minaj, but she went through a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
A whole lot. And as many females have, to try to get to the top, what I'm saying? Like, have gone through a whole lot when it comes to how the industry just tries to change our image or make us, feel a certain type of way. You have to look a certain type of way in order to get the type of attention that you want for your music. Yeah, it's huge. Like the girl Chica. I don't know if y'all ever heard of Chica, the rapper. She's
Oh, you mean
amazing.
yeah. CHIKA. When you said chicken, yeah, she's amazing. She's fire.
Amazing. That's also an issue, like her not getting pushed. I can think of so many amazing female rappers and producers that just not getting pushed because they don't fit a certain aesthetic, for the industry. So it's very nuanced. It's not just that you have to be an amazing female producer. You have to look the part. You have to do a whole bunch of extra things. Whereas some men producers don't have to go through all of those hoops in order to, you know what I'm saying? So there's that. But I don't highlight just the negative things. There are very wonderful things that come with being a female producer. Like, again, the amazing ear that we have for music. I love when I'm able to listen to a song and just take it apart in my head. Like, you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to sample that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sample. I love listening to old school R&B, very old school blues. I love Sarah Vaughan. I love Nina Simone. I listen to everything under the sun. Maybe not metal, but everything else under the sun.
I gotta put you on to some lit metal though. I ain't going front. I gotta put you on some lit metal.
I've heard some, but I'm
listen. We'll talk later. I'm gonna make you love some metal. That's another conversation another day.
But yeah, there's been so many different great transitions in the music industry when it comes to female artists, producers, and I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to really get in my bag and like start to produce more and push myself out there. But yeah, that's it.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. I've been waiting for 10 years. Would you tell them? I've been begging her like twice a year.
It's not like I haven't been doing.
No, you haven't. But I'm saying you haven't. But
yeah.
When you see somebody that is super talented, like again, I don't be D-riding, I don't be brown nosing. I've been begging her to go super hard since 2011. Let's talk about that. I'm like, yo, you can rap. Oh my God. You can just get 5 artists. You can write songs for them and make their tracks. You can make your own tracks. Oh, you can do drum parts. Oh, you can sell loops.
I'm very selfish. This is the problem with me. When it comes to the beats that I make, I'm most likely making them because I'm going to do something with it in the future. I'm holding on to it in my pocket. My husband always like, let me get that. I'm like, no. No, this is mine. I keep it on the side. And then sometimes, I'll make a beat and it will actually be for like somebody that I can hear on it, like either my husband or Salima. Shout out to Salima Gonzalez. She's an artist that I work with. But yeah, I don't just like sending out my those are my babies.
Those are intellectual property.
That's
your
my
intellectual
baby.
property. You right? I get it. It's your IP. Let me ask this quick question real quick. I'm only going to use this. I felt the burnout with music in general, just as a producer, and I just stopped. 2019 was, everybody knows the story. Were there points in burnout with music production dealing with all the barriers and all the sexist obstacles that you dealt with? And I'm not saying be specific or talk too much about this stuff, but if you want to share, cool, share. But what are some obstacles, that you've overcome and some things that just like, oh my God, I got to deal with this again? Like, any worries or concern like that going full blast to music again?
Well, me, I'm a collaborator by heart, and for a very long time, like I've, either come across people that are willing to get into like music as a collective. And it would start off really great at first, and then all of a sudden it will just, die down, or people have different sense in their vision and opinion of, where they think the collective should go. And that's, taken a toll on me over the past, I would say 10 years, pretty much. But it's gotten to a point where I just had to get over the trauma of that and just really, work on me, work on what I have, and not constantly try to pull on other people to try to get that leverage or that push forward into the music industry that I think that I want. But yeah, I mean, of course, it's always going to be some type of obstacles when you're trying to work on your dream or your passion. Always, what I'm saying, if it's not people, it's life circumstances. My laptop breaking down or something like that. Now I got to put in more money to get more equipment. Stuff happens in life, but that shouldn't stop you. I think that. Yes, it was a pause, and I needed to get myself together, my mind and everything. But like, I would never be able to stop doing music. It's just in me. You know what I'm saying? It's always in me. But yeah, that's my little story.
No, it's your big story. Big story. Everybody, you listen. You got 3 men here that will help you with anything you need, because like DC said earlier and Daysun said earlier, it's like it's up to us to like knock down the sexism, knock down the haters in the studio sessions, knock down people. Like we had a show about old producers versus new producers, and it's kind of analogous to this. It's like it is the men's duty in these studio sessions to create a safe place, like DC said, but it's also the men's duty in these spaces, like, bro, shut that logic up and shut that mindset up. Let's get to work and let's get this cash on these beats. You know what I'm saying? Why you tripping? Listen, I don't care. Like, people would make fun of Pharrell. Like, he had a choker on, and they didn't want to work with him. Then Nori worked with him. He's like, Nori was like, yo, he's fire. I don't care if he wear a choker in pink. I don't care. Let's just make these track and make these cash.
You sound like him.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the mentality that all producers, that to the men that are watching this that are producers, old or young or whatever. Here's my message before we transition to other segments, and thank you, Queen Nexus, for sharing. We about to turn up the fun notch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Because this topic has stressed me out, but guess what? This is going to be one of many, and I hope Queen Nexus comes back on the show, because your input is valuable, your mindset is valuable, and dude, you a beast musically, so yo, please come back. Like, for real, you a beast musically.
I will.
But to the men that are watching this right now, if you try to block a woman from making beats in your session, you're a lame. To other men that, if y'all see this in the studio session and hear somebody make a comment, like, what's she here for? Was she gonna do this, do that? Bro, if she got fire in the laptop, why you tripping? Men, check other men, because guess what? That one young lady or woman, older woman that you diss in the studio session might be Sylvia Robinson, might be the next Erykah Badu, might be the next Track Girl, might be the next Wonder Girl, might be the next MIA. You will burn a bridge that'll mess up your pocket and incinerate it. And in common sense, treat people with respect, bro. I don't care what somebody look like. If their beat is thumping through the speaker, who cares the gender or sexual preference? I don't care. I don't care, fam. But real quick, we going to do something real fun real quick, and I want to see how everybody feels about this. This is new technology coming out. Look at that. They grab a file. That's one file. The AI turns one file. What? Crazy. That's crazy. That's bananas. AI, music AI apps are crazy, ladies and gentlemen. And this is just one of many that are out now, but this is coming out. Synplant 2. And this is just a small example. Listen, how does everybody feel about this AI music revolution happening right now? How does everybody feel about these apps?
I'm not ready.
Yeah, I'm not ready either. Using all this technology, and that's light. That's light. I just saw something on Twitter this week where they said it's an app. It's an app out, and I'll share the information you guys offline. And it's out. I forgot what it's called. You can use AI, and it can automatically mix your track onto the sentence that you write for the AI. I want the beats to thump. I want this to be clear, and I want clarity. And the AI, or it's like super isotope. There's AI where people are just dragging pictures. Like Photosounder used to do that back in the days. Photosounder, if you don't know what Photosounder is a plugin where you can drag a picture in and it creates a melody. Now there's AI that just creates generative melody for free. How does everybody feel about how music AI is going to affect production, in particular hip hop production and urban music moving forward? That's what I want to ask the room.
I don't like it. It takes away the humanality from music. Like, I get that like overall everything's supposed to evolve and will evolve whether we like it or not. It's gonna evolve. But at the end of the day, like when you just give it all to the robot to do,
Give it to the robot.
Give it to the robot to do, then it kind of loses its, I think music made by robots should be for robots to listen to. I'm just gonna say that.
I don't disagree. That's fire.
This honestly, this is not new. I do teach cyber, and I was back in 2017. I would show my students like the AI robot Susan. I would show them the General Dynamics dog flipping. So seeing it in the Super Bowl commercial is nothing new. I would show them the Daimler, I believe it's Daimler Chrysler, whoever. It's a foreign company. They create long distance trucks, and the truck was driving itself. All they had to do was read the manifest and see where the direction was going. And then I showed them the video of Watson, the IBM Watson, that the AI that defeated the Jeopardy champions in 2011, 2012. And then I showed them a video of, I forgot who it was like a popular EDM producer. And he helped AI create a chart topping hit, but really the AI did it on its own. So it's been done for a while. It's been going on. Now it's just coming to the surface with some of the things that's taking place. And I think some aspects of music you just can't recreate. You can recreate, something that's poppy, something that's jingly. Yeah, I think you can recreate that, but I think it hasn't evolved to the point yet where it can create that chart-topping hit that just has that human emotion. I'm saying it's not going to happen because the way we're giving our information over to social media, the way that we're everything you turn on, we're what's the challenge, the 10 years challenge, and we're falling for all these things, and we just everybody doesn't realize you've been a guinea pig since before you were born. The Apple iPhone comes out, you don't get the full, you get 10,000 updates before you get the next phone. You're a guinea pig. You get a PlayStation, you get so many updates before you get the next PlayStation. So you're beta testers. That's what I call them. So this, when Chat GPT coming out like that and things, that we're all beta testers. So it's going to continue to evolve. It's just we just have to keep pushing forward. With I think AI right now can't live perform. So it can't dominate. And most artists make their money. They don't make their money from selling albums. They make their money from performing live. Mm-hmm. So unless you want to see a hologram and performing its favorite song or something like that, it can't do that yet until we see the robot.
Well, they tried with that NK or whatever that thing was, and it got shut down. But DC, how do you feel about this conversation?
I know it's a necessity that is coming, and some necessity. But here's the thing: you can absolutely automate tasks, but you'll never fully master human emotions. A robot cannot love. A robot can mimic love, but it cannot love. A robot cannot sit there and get down on his knee and sing to his lady, I'm missing you. Because it doesn't really have the context of what missing. It's almost like and if it does it, I believe that you can program things that mimic, but it cannot go you can program a lot of stuff, and again, it can mimic, but a computer cannot master human emotion because think about it, it's the human programming the computer to be human. So I look at it is it there? Is there some things it can do? Yes, and I'm not anti-AI. I want to make sure I say that. But just as a musician, I mean, when I pick up a guitar and strum it, I just don't see how that thing is going to ever mimic that. I'm saying this ever be to a point where you can sit back and watch, like, back in the day of watching, like, imagine like old school hip hop, with Dougie Fresh and that in the show. How does it duplicate that? Or how does it do like Sugar Hill Gang? How does it do Michael Jackson? How does it do freaking Bon Jovi?
Or Rick James.
Eddie
or
Van
Rick James.
Halen? Right, Eddie. Right. How do you do the simple nuances of a doggone bass player like the Johnson Brothers? Like, how do you do that? How do you do the beginning of Rock With You? How do you be able to put that emotion in there? I mean, so that's my thought. Now, of course, Daysun is the master in here, and
all you got to do is code. All you got to know how to do is code. At that point, that's really what it comes down to: machine learning and coding. If you know how to do that, and you black.
But before anybody else says something real quick, we just discovered something. DC is romantic. How did you get down on one knee and tell a woman you love? You are a romantic. I swear, you start talking, candles start lighting behind you, and I heard Otis Redding guitar strums. How you gonna get down on one knee and tell that woman, not a woman, that woman, you love her? You are a romantic. You flower petals leading up to the bedroom romantic. I see you, DC. I'm sorry, I'm listening to him talking. I'm like, I'm getting like lulled into the romance combo. Then I was like, bro.
He's right though. A robot cannot do that. Like, as far as, providing that level of emotion from music, all you're going to get is the sounds, but it's just going to be empty behind it, empty emotions behind it. You won't feel nothing for real.
I'll say something real quick. I said this to you guys today anyway. This is how I feel, because I've been caught in this. And actually, see, you got to give me props for not slipping. I see Queen Nexus put me on to something. You got to give me props. I've been working. You said I just lifted a weight with my, you know what I'm saying?
He was getting ready to mess up.
DC done shouted Frank out. I'm like, Frank, where? I'll leave wins. I'm going to leave you alone. Real quick. I said this today to Daysun and Queen Nexus. You know what I'm saying? And I said, the reason, AI is a great tool. Like I agree with DC. I love what it is, but I'm telling every producer this. I've been in this situation 4 times, and it's the scariest thing. Picture this. You're in the studio. It's mad artists, and you're a producer. And it's like, yo, you got beats? Yeah, I heard you got beats. Yeah. Your laptop crash. Or you left your laptop adapter. Nobody got a USB cord for your MIDI controller. And you got to make beats on the studio engineer's desktop in front of a room full of artists. And you can say, yeah, I got some AI. I'll do this, and they see you doing these apps and playing with these loops. Nothing's worse. And I've been in this situation 4 times when I was a teenager and like in my 20s, because I'm 40 and I'm proud of it. All right. And I'm going through loops. And I'm hearing artists like they're smoking in the back. What are you doing, yo? What are you doing? I need you to make a beat. Would you just listen to stuff? And I was there for like an hour before I kicked out on 4 occasions, listening to a whole bunch of loops. I'm just going to chop this. Like, nah, we want a beat that feels this way, and this way. Go. Man, get up off the desk. And they put somebody there, and they didn't even know how to play piano. They said, what type of feeling you want? They knew some keys. Started with some keys, lay the bass line, lay the drums, copy paste the range, girl, met the feeling and sold the room and sold beats that whole time. And I missed out on money 4 times. AI is great, but if you're in a room with professionals, let's say outside of hip hop, let's say you take your hip hop butt, go to Nashville, Tennessee, and some country artists said, y'all heard you make some great melodies. We got a rhythm guitarist. We heard you got some great melodies. Open your laptop. Let's get to work. You need a MIDI controller? And you're going to be looking foolish sitting in front of AI, because real musicians, real people who are trying to get Grammys, that's cool or whatever, but you got to be in a position that makes you unique from every other producer. And AI is a great shortcut, but you got to practice your muscle. I told the Daysun about this earlier. I'll close on this point. I love Ableton. I'm an Ableton head to the core. Over 10 years in Ableton. The reason I did not get the Ableton Push 2, which is a great device, and I'm not advising against this. I'm talking about me and my laziness, prone to laziness. The way it has the chord set up, I wanted to have the freedom to say, yo, let me just learn some chords. Because Ableton would make me so spoiled. You know what I'm saying? That I know I've been in situations where I had Dropbox. This is back when Dropbox first came out. And I went to a studio session. They only had Logic Pro X. I was like, ooh, I've worked with that. And then I had to go to my Dropbox, get my drum banks, my sound banks, my custom sounds. I make synthesizers and stuff like that. And I put it in somebody's Logic in their Ultra Beat, and I made a beat in their dial. Producers, we have to be self-sufficient to show our unique style, and AI is great tools that'll assist. But when it's crunch time, when it's make a sell on a beat time, when it's being around real professionals, not just people that like them shortcuts, you're going to be looking crazy. Don't just depend on AI. Be your own unique producer. That's what I'll say with that. And unless anybody has anything to say to close this segment, I'll give everybody the opportunity to do so before I go on to the next.
Facts.
I'm just gonna say it's a keyboard player.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Daysun. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say all that's fine and dandy, but if the quality of the music degrades, then how much better will AI sound? And if we take a listen at what's going on now, and the quality is degrading and everything is so syncopated and on track, don't you think AI is going to be able to hit the 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s and change things a certain way? So
I got something to say about that.
Okay.
Actually.
So like in gospel music, you hear runs.
Good example.
You hear runs.
Example. Yes.
You hear emotion. You know, and then sometimes when you hear other music, you hear fairy singing, and you're like, okay, you know, a lot of people trying to be like Seven Streeter, you know, even though she didn't get her props, there's a lot of people singing like her.
But when Yolanda pull up, it's a whole different story. I'm sorry, when Yolanda Adams pulls up. Sorry, go ahead, continue.
No. So it's like you kind of gotta look at it like that. If what the general public is listening to sounds like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the AI can copy that, then how are we going to be able to determine if it's AI or a person?
Well, you're right. The majority is listening to that. But I believe there's still a market for those who value authenticity, because just because music is evolving doesn't mean that it has to lose authenticity.
The soul.
It's still, the soul, that part. There's still a good amount, I would say, of people that are craving for that type of music, the non-AI type of music, you know. So even though the music is going in a very weird way, I'm sorry, it is. I think that there's still a remnant that's hoping, you know, that people still come out with some authentic tracks, timeless tracks. Like music in its art form, if it's timeless, like you'll never lose that. You know what I'm saying? Like I think about Nina Simone. Oh, I listen to Nina Simone. I'm like, this is timeless. My gosh. You know, of course, Marvin Gaye, you know, you listen to some timeless tracks. It's just like, it's taking you to a place. Now, if you listen to AI music or things that's made by AI, it's like, it doesn't capture my emotion, doesn't capture my imagination. It's just capturing my brain in a cognitive way to make me want to dance or jump, or some very surface level stuff is happening when I'm listening to a beat that's made by AI. But yeah, that's mainly what I want to say.
Listen, AI can't make no Delphonics.
That part.
Sorry, go ahead, DC. I just had to put that in.
Right. Or Thundercat. Thundercat album.
Ooh, Thundercat. DJ Morton.
AI trying to do that? Come on now.
Right.
Like
Right. I mean, something like when I look at young producers or talk to them, it's like, you know, they get the MIDI packs for like keyboards. I say, well, the thing is, no human hits every key at the same time. And Nexus, you know, sometimes you'll do a roll on to that chord, and it'll be maybe an ascending or descending roll on to that thing, or different inversions, because sometimes you play it, especially if you're flowing with a singer. And that's the thing I would sit back and say, okay, so how does it work with the flow of it? And I definitely would sit back and say now, and we don't have to go into that area, but I would sit back and say one of the biggest questions, I'm gonna say, right, country, how it's going to do country, how is it going to do jazz, and how is it going to lead me in worship? How is it going to lead me in praise and worship?
That part.
I mean, I'm just kidding. Just it'll. But I'll
Tasha
stop
Cobbs, can it do with Tasha? Can it sound like Karen Clark Sheard?
Never.
No,
Never. Never. Never.
Okay.
I'll say this, and I'll end this segment before we go off to another segment by saying this. And I'm on you, like we're on YouTube, so I'm gonna be civil. I think DC was trying to go here. I'm gonna try to grab some of that Southern charm, bring it to my New York ratchetness, and try to combine it to smooth this statement out. AI, men and women, listen, men and women. You'll understand me when I say this. Listen to this. Men and women, would you, when it comes to music, and if you're a producer, a man or a woman, this AI is literally like an adult toy. Do you want an adult toy, or do you want some love making men and women?
I get what he's saying.
Love making is way different. And mind you, men don't act like the gawk machine ain't out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's out there. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. So men and women, you want some musical love making, or you want some plastic temporary span stuff going on? Men and women. And men, stop acting like you don't know about the gawk. You know what that is. But I'll move on to another segment. Let me just play this right quick.
Always told the producers, like, you are the label.
Yeah.
The best, I've always told the producers, like, you are the label.
Yeah.
The best record labels that have ever existed were always run by music producers. Quincy Jones, Dr. Dre, Pharrell. You know, it's like the labels that are run by music producers, because they can actually get the creativity going and running and moving, you know.
I wanted to show you how I made my sounds for my sounds.com pack. I thought using loops was cheating, so I programmed my own samples. I then thought using samples was cheating, so I recorded real drums. I then thought programming was cheating, so I learned to play drums for real. I then thought using pre-made drumsticks was cheating, so I started making my own. I then thought using a pre-grown tree was cheating, so I planted a few in my yard. But then I had the realization, it's not how you make the sounds, it's what you do with them.
I just had to put that there. I'm sorry, I'm being a troll. You know what I'm saying?
I'm upset.
Daysun, you want to say something prior? I'm sorry, brother.
Oh, no. By now, I've forgotten everything. You know, the 46-year-old mom.
Listen, about 46-year-old brain. I've been, you know how I found out I had a lowered, my attention span got wider, and I thought I literally prided myself on having a short attention span. If you watch the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, you find out how your attention span ain't what it used to be, because that movie is anime on fast forward, and I was like, oh my God, it's too much. But then again, I had some produce prior to watching it. Dumb mistake. If you know, you know. So those two examples, the reason I share those videos right there, because one was some logical facts about producers set the temperature, and then the other one was playful about the ridiculousness of arguments that Diplo outlined. There's ridiculous arguments, and I put those two contrasting things showing producers, we set the temperature. And then the opposite of that spectrum is producers, let's argue for nonsensical authenticity. And this segment, this last segment of the show is Why aren't more producers setting the temperature in the industry instead of waiting for labels and waiting for this when we are the creators of all the music? Let's talk about that. I'll give it to the floor.
Can I add? I watched another podcast with a famous singer. And, I love this podcast. And they talked about bands and how when it was all about bands, they tried to single out one member. And they singled out one member because they didn't want to have to pay the rest of the band. So then it started dwindling from groups to solo singers. So I look at it like this, sometimes I feel like it's so the producer can't control anything unless he can get in the door and be there with the artist. Because right now it's the company and the artist. And the artist is, and I hate to use it like this, like when Tupac would be like, man, I got time for you to tingle to play over that snare or worry about that snare. Come on to the next track. Let's go so I can record it and let's go. So it's like, I think it's artist centered now. So, and the even though the producer is the backdrop for the artist, it's the artist is picking the beats or the artist's manager is AR in the record or something like that. So if the producer is not taking the forefront, like as far as like you're producing the record, you're the artist, you have a crew of artists or things of that nature, you really don't have the option to control the space. I should say. That's my point of view.
Go ahead.
Anybody else?
I'm gonna say this is that I was listening to 50 Cent talk about something today. It was on Instagram. He was saying that today you can go and grab a track, grab a loop, and then you can get right on out there and put some stuff out there. But then on the other end, he said, so individual artists you can do, but like groups, like we don't really have any R&B groups. We don't really have any, hip hop groups. You have Migos and stuff like that. He said artists, that takes time to develop the artists to work together as a team. And so that's the thing where, even where, again, I want to make sure I stress is that I am not anti-AI. I just think that there are some limitations, and those are things that we mitigate to, because the tool will exist in the same space and we work through that. But I do think that, what happens now is that I think what we're trying to do is, one, we're really trying to, get to the product, because the songs are widgets. It is a music business. So we're too quick trying to, hurry up and get the most out of our widgets for the less investment. If I can sit back and do a bunch of tracks and I can get money flowing, then that works. And then for them, because it's a profit margin and a time. But then the other thing I would sit back and say is that everybody's into the group thing. We're into the crowd kind of mentality versus just going out there. Right. We're not willing to sit back and say, I'm going to get out there. Like, for example, they didn't give Prince a whole lot of stuff because it's like, hey, this is kind of whack, but it's kind of got a little bit to it. Let's see where it goes. And then it blows up. Or like, for example, they shopped the group TLC around for everyone and it just wasn't flowing, but it's all right, let's just put them with this person, let's see what happens, and boom, those things. So I think, as a musician and as a producer, which L.A. Reid was good as that, and a couple of them, Andre Harrell, a lot of those things, Russell Simmons and stuff. This is really good at being able to have a pulse of what goes on, and you've got to have people who are producers and executives that will make that decision to say, just like you were saying, Frank, hey, everybody's going right, I'm going left.
Yeah. What I add to that, and I'll say this, and I think it's a good combination of what everybody said. And Daysun said this one line that really sparked something in me, and it made me realize, that's true. Producers can't just be producers, like DC just said, and Queen Nexus has said. And I thought of like, in New York City, who was the movers and shakers that was producers? Irv Gotti. He was not just a producer. He was trying to get people to listen to his beats, He was like, word, y'all ain't trying to hear? Boom, I'm a DJ. Boom, I'm going to get in this room. You got to be up. If you really want to change the temperature on any industry, And EDM is a good example of this. And I don't understand why hip hop producers are not using EDM strategies. EDM producers most of them weren't even DJs at first. They were like, we're going to create remixes, give it to DJs. Oh, y'all want to hear them? Then we're going to DJ our own parties. Then we're going to play our remixes at our parties. Oh, y'all don't want to book me for gigs? Then we're going to go live stream. We're going to build our community. Then we're going to have our private events. Then we get booked the gig. We use our beats in tandem with the rest of our hustle and then get on those big stadium stages. And there's a huge pay disparity between EDM producers and hip hop producers. I'm sorry. Hip hop producers, the main goal, like if all four of us was like, yo, we got a major placement on the label. Great. We got an advance and we paid. We're still held to waiting on an artist, waiting on a label. Whereas EDM producers are like, oh yeah, I got the sync license out the world for like these food commercials, these different clothing lines. Producers have to combine their skill and they have to hustle with it and have a mindset. I think Queen Nexus said earlier, and also in the other videos, you can't wait for no one. And the best way to move the temperature and move the wave, stop just thinking hip hop, start thinking grassroots, grunge rock. How grunge rock came up. Stop just thinking hip hop. Think EDM, what their come up was. Stop thinking hip hop. Let's think about how metal was thriving, but metal isn't crazy on the radio or the TV like that, but they're thriving and people are living off of full metal tours. Mm-hmm. Stop thinking one genre. Use the strategy of multiple genres to change the temperature. As producers, that I'm saying this is not a shot at artists, not a shot at labels. We have the power. I'm sorry. We are the ground. We got to stop acting like we need to beg people. No, they need to beg us because without the beat, your bars mean nothing. Without the beat, you couldn't get mechanical royalties, performance royalties. And we are the foundation, but I think the narrative has been flipped. Oh, nah, y'all got to come to us. Like I told somebody this one, I told all three at one point today, and I was like, yo, I just seen a post, I think B-Starts posted, and it was like, if an artist asks you to pay to use your beat, would you do it? And then I think it was Queen Nexus says, yo, people doing that? And I was like, yo.
That's crazy.
The comment is because you know what? People have made, let's keep the old church saying, people have made the producers the tail and not the head. That's the narrative. But here's the thing. Without the track, where would the songwriter go? Without the track, where would the singer, the rapper, what would the label do? We got to start being the head and not the tail. Producers, you got to start understanding. It's not conceit. It is logistics. Take your mind out of hip hop. Take your mind out of just all of our black music in general. Let's bring it to gospel.
But I do think that like one guy who took that philosophy was Metro Boomin.
Yeah,
Metro Boomin was DJing parties. He was DJing his music. He was like, it's like he almost did like what the EDM guys did, and he was starting a movement. Another guy who was doing that was Just Blaze. Mm-hmm. Just Blaze was DJing parties. He was still producing, but he just went back to DJing. And
another guy, real quick, Little John.
Yes.
Running it.
He DJs a lot of parties. Oh my goodness. Jermaine Dupri DJs parties.
Ninth Wonder.
Yeah. So I think we do have to start thinking about other ways that we can, penetrate the market, other ways that we can use our skills and not just sitting on our beats. I've sat on beat forever and I'm 46.
Brother.
I'm tired of sitting on everything that I have now.
Daysun, brother. All right, we're going to do an example because you said that. If everybody that's watching this or everybody that's in this live right now, all the co-hosts and myself, if you are sitting on mad beats, raise your hands. Every producer sits on beats. The thing is, you know what it is? We got used to systems. Listen to the artists we named. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010. This 2020 with this internet, like I always tell people, start using your apps as weapons and funnels and stop waiting on people. Like I tell people all the time, it's like, oh, Khalif, you got the morning motivation show. You got this going on. I said, brother, I got a cell phone and a short attention span. You know what I'm saying? Like and I see people that don't have my melanin at all making a lot of cash. Why not me? Producers that are watching this video, female producers, male producers, women in production, men in production, stop the nonsense with the gender wars. It is fiscally counterproductive. I repeat,
Facts.
men, stopping a young lady from showing you her beat. If she got fire, bro, why are you doing that? Ladies, getting back to the DC comment, because it's happening. We see it on the internet. I talk to my wife about it all the time. And I said this to Queen Nexus earlier. I was like, don't you notice when you go to TikTok and certain apps, it be the same argument, gender wars?
Mm-hmm.
And gender wars is counterproductive. I'm like, damn, even
So
Jerry Springer,
sad.
even Jerry Springer and Maury Povich was like, yo, we gonna have this 2 episodes. We gonna talk about who's the father for the rest. Like, it ain't gonna be y'all against y'all every season. Everybody's got to start using their tools because, like I said in my morning motivation show this morning, we have a time we're born. We have a time that we're going to transition. And God is all, whether you believe in God, you can call it the universe, whatever. God has given us a gift of music. You either going to use it or lose it. I repeat, you either going to use it or lose it. And guess what, producers? If you block a woman's opportunity from using a gift, you going to be cursed financially. Real talk. But I want to close saying that. Everybody, please share your closing statements. I would love to hear it.
Blessings. No, 100%. I gotta get back on my grind. Like I said, I'm gonna start making more beats. Not that I haven't been making them, but just not as often. I will continue to, do my thing and not feel no type of way about, getting out there. That's all I have for now.
No, we get it. Right. Thank you for being here, and Shannon. I wanted you to get back to plugging what you're thinking of. And
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, just plug what you're thinking of. Like, plug
yeah,
yourself.
where can we find your music and stuff like that?
Well, I did release one song called Heartbreaker's Confession. It's on YouTube. It's on all platforms, actually. Heartbreaker's Confession. Just look up Queen Nexus. And do you see how it's spelled? You see?
Oh, it's spelled. It's spelled in the description.
Okay, period. All right. So look in the description and go check out that song. And then I also produced one song for my husband called Concussion. You can check out Aether Solaris. It's AETHER SOLARIS.
And guess what? After the stream, you're going to text me the information so I can update the description so everybody can know. Let's talk about that.
Okay. I got you. But yeah, I'm going to, and then I'm on TikTok as well. TikTok, I'm Queen Nexus 32 on TikTok. So yeah.
Everybody give it up for Queen Nexus. Listen, I'm not playing. You know me. You better come back to the show. Like,
I will.
I like this in the dynamic too. It's good.
Had to get my nerves out.
I like this in the dynamic too. It's not just a bunch of we get a female perspective as well, which I think is really cool.
It's heavily needed. Is that people seeing us 4 episodes prior, and this is like there's a lot of gray hairs up in here. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe I messed up because I never thought about it like that. Because when I go on and I see a lot of dope female producers, I don't get that jealousy thing or anything like that. I'd be excited. I'd be like, oh my goodness. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's how, especially when the beat is hot.
Facts.
I don't even think like that. Maybe I'm just attached. I don't know. Because,
depends. It all depends, It's never like I don't think that a lot of men try to be a-holes about it, but like it just happens, you know what I'm saying? But it is good to see that there are some who would bat for us, like you guys. I'm really happy, and I'm glad, that Khalif put me on this show.
She rolled her eyes. You see that?
No, look, I want to hear the content. I'm ready to hear the next hit. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's gonna be lit.
When you go to her TikTok page, she does these fire duets where she's rapping over somebody else playing
I
either
haven't
drums
done
or
it in
beats.
so long.
I don't care. They still fire to me. I'm still gonna pump that.
So weak.
And fellas, I'm gonna beg her every time we have a show to come on because we need to. For real, I'm a beggar. I don't care.
And I won't always look like this, guys. I don't want you guys to get used to this. I will be back to my hood.
You from New York. You from New York. We know the vibes. Surprised you ain't show your Timbs right
This
now.
was just the initial.
It is what it is. I guess on to me, I've never plugged this song, but I do have a song that's on Spotify as well as it's on YouTube. It's just an instrumental. I have never put lyrics to it. It's all I want from you. Well, it's actually entitled As I Am, and it is a Christian-based record. But when you hear it, you're gonna think R&B. You may think Kim a little bit because that's.
I love Kim. What you talking about?
That's where I was coming from with the vibes. I released it in 2017. I got tired of sitting there and I'm just gonna do it. So I do have a record label, civildaysmusic. I'm gonna finally push myself out there, put some music out. I rap, produce, things of that nature. I do sample packs. I teach people how to use this equipment. I'm in the process of learning myself, but I'm a teacher. So I believe, like Khalif always says, iron sharpens iron. If you teach, you got to learn. And as you're learning, it just makes you better with this gift that we have. So check me out on TikTok. Check me out on YouTube. Check me out on Facebook.
And the information is in description. The information is all in the description, ladies and gentlemen. Please, and here's the thing. Please, before we get to DC, and I don't want to cut off Daysun, everybody support content creators and producers of color. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. It's the elephant in the invisible room. We got to support each other.
Yes.
And people who are not of color, support new talent.
Okay.
Follow everybody here. Support everybody here. If you love my content, please hit me up on Cash App. $Khalif wins. DC, sorry. I have to just interject. You know me. I'm getting right back to station ID. You know what I'm saying?
No, brother. I was saying y'all can follow me, Dccarsonmusic, on YouTube, Facebook, as well as Instagram. And I got a song out here, and I want to say this song you just look up DC Carson, and the song is Retail Therapy. All right, here's what it's about. This song is something I looked at. I was in counseling and was, I was directing a team of counselors and just sitting up there thinking about ways people navigate stuff. And some of the lady counselors talking about I do retail therapy. So retail therapy is just a song where you shopping, you kind of doing your thing, you kind of having your moment. It's really good with it coming in the spring, shopping, you want a new outfit, that kind of stuff. It's a great song to kind of stream. And then it kind of even comes in where your man is kind of like supporting it. Hey, that's my boo. That's my baby. I want to make sure she's good to go. So, that because there's a line that even goes like, you don't even have to spend your own money, girl. Just take this cash because it's all on me. And I'll make sure you're good to go. So I want y'all to check out my song. Let me know what you think.
We're going to check it out. We're going to check it out.
You are romantic, boy.
Yes, retail therapy.
I'm going to keep you away from my wife, DC. The way you talking right now, I'm going to keep you way away from my wife. You ain't going to never talk to her. He's like, listen, retail therapy. If you need that, you know what I'm saying? Your foot massage, I got that hot oil, sis, dog. And fellas, don't let DC talk to your wife. That's it. He will snatch your wife with the Southern charm. I'm sorry, bro.
You see why I'm with a Bama man,
Listen, you with a Bama man because those like the real men, you know what I'm saying? Like, dudes like, you want to build a fort? No, let's build a cabin. You want to build a house? No, let's build this. Let's build a field. And they got ARs on decky. You know what I'm saying? I'm a typical New York City dude. I'm like, listen, where's Starbucks?
Yeah.
Where's the Chinese spot? I'm good. Like, I need some 4 chicken wings and fried rice. I'm gonna sit down and relax. I ain't building nothing, you heard? I got all attitude in the world. I'm from New York. Like, I ain't building nothing. I'm good on that. God bless everybody from the South. Sorry, DC. You say like retail therapy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm the calf massager. I will propose to the AI and make it say, baby, I love you. Yo, I swear Sade was in my area talking. Something down the smooth operator. Tell your wife see you later. And that's what I love about everybody on this show. We all different. We all different. But DC, you ain't never talked about wife on the phone, brother. You will talk her out of like, she's like, I'm married to who? Khalif wins now. He loses. I'm going to Tuskegee.
He loses.
Oh, wow.
I had to have fun, yo. It was kind of tight in the beginning. Pause. It was kind of like real stressful in the beginning. I've been stressing this episode for like 4 days. I need a release. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What was the most stressful thing about, talking about this topic for you?
I think the thing that was most stressful for me, that it was done right, number one. Number two, it wasn't done from a singular male mansplaining perspective. Number three, a lot of things that I did not share tonight. This is why this has to be an ongoing discussion. I think it's an ongoing fight. This ain't a one video fight. This level of ignorance that I've discovered from people who really think that women shouldn't produce, who really got there's comments I could not even post here. Like the mentality, and I'm not talking about just older dudes. I'm talking about a lot of young dudes would like really have this mentality, or nah, you look like when you look at everybody watching this, or we'll watch the replay. Look at female producers' comments. Tell me if I'm lying. You look mad good. Yo, you did sexual stuff. You ain't make that for real. And then what's worse, female on female hate of somebody going for their dreams. It was just it was a lot. You know how you look at like a horror movie or look at like a really harsh documentary about racism in the 60s? It was like, bro, you reading some of these comments and seeing and hearing the stories and the videos that I've watched. I'm like, yo, women are going through it like it's the suffrage movement in music production. I was like, bro, this is still happening. Like, it opened my eyes. For 4 days I was doing it. Y'all know me. I do hefty research. I'm like, bro, I was narrow-minded that women are still going through things that women went through like 50 plus years ago when it comes. And it's so stupid to me because it's skill. Like, it's about a skill. Like, why you hate on somebody's gender when if they got fire in their laptop? It was just astounding. Then the stress of doing the research, then the stress of doing it right. And then the stress, that was it. And I was like, then it's my daughter. It's like, damn, I got to do something continually. Not one video. It's a war. A continual war against ignorance.
But remember when Remy was on another podcast and she was just talking about how she said it always has to be one against the other. Like, why can't we all just go up at the same time? And she said they always got to put us against each other. Which is so frustrating. That's how they sell it. They sell it. This is the top. I don't want to say top dog, but this is the one that's on top. And then you got the other one trying, and then you had three. I think it just got to a point where Remy just like, I'm tired. I'm just going to go this way.
Word. I'm
going this way because I don't feel like dealing with this and all politics.
I'm on the side of Remy when it comes to that. I'm going the other way. I'm tired. Y'all go ahead. Y'all fight. Y'all do this.
Because
I'm too tired.
The thing that puzzled me is like, yo, you are literally, some people are really using sexism and they not even focusing on the talent or the bag. I'm like, bro, if you're financially selfish, this is a stupid strategy to gender discriminate. Think about it. If you want money, why would you discriminate against a whole? Nah, she ain't making beats. That's a woman. I'm trying to hit. Like the ignorance I saw. But go ahead, Daysun.
Well, you got to think. I look at everything is about. It'd be Tide Pods. Some sex for Tide Pods. I'm like, come on. And you know what I'm saying? It's just stupid, crazy stuff today. It's every television show, every stuff that's going on today. It's just. People think there's only sex that sells, So they use it. It worked. It worked. Our favorite rappers. I can name 3 that were our favorite, and they saw that model and they keep pushing that model. which is crazy because they don't want to give one credit, and she claims how they don't want to give her credit because she is the model for it. But even though I ain't saying no names, but
I know,
at the same time,
I get it. We from New York. We know who you're talking about. We from New York. We know who you're talking about.
She is the model. She is the model for it, but no one wants to give her credit. But that's what sells.
And her name is the Queen Bee. I'm sorry, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. I can't hold it back. Her name is Little Kim, the Queen Bee. Recognized. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm sorry. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. I could not try to hold it. It was just within me. I'm from Brooklyn.
She's the model. She's the model. I loved her Breakfast Club interview when she put it out there. But at the same time, I think that's the stuff that you have to deal with. But I will say this, and I'm gonna right now I'm gonna be Chuck D.
Oh boy. Let's go.
So this is the beauty of the internet. The beauty of the internet is that you don't need the machine. You can create your own machine. And in creating your own machine, you can lay everything out the way you desire. You can make your music, you can make your image, you can make your beats, you can do everything you want. What it takes is us pushing forward and keep grinding and keep moving and keeping our business plan and keeping our image and everything that we desire in the forefront. You don't need the machine anymore. Look, think about some of our favorite artists. Some of our favorite artists were discovered underground. And they were discovered working in clubs and doing things that other people were not doing. And they created, Annie DeFranco created a movement. And she was not on a regular label. She produced music that people loved. It's so many artists that are doing it when Molly Music was discovered, before he became R&B. He was the worship leader. And when that Second Coming album came out, I was like, oh, this is the next coming. And it was worship. And then when people heard him do R&B, I'm like, yeah, but you didn't hear his worship. You think this R&B is good. You have not heard his worship. You haven't heard, because to me, he was like the next coming of Ty Tribbett. So that's what I think it is. We just got to take this independent scene and push ourselves out there and push the material out there. And I think, sometimes you got to be in the system to make change, but sometimes you got to work outside the system to let people pay attention to what's going on. Know your business, keep your intellectual property, and before you know it, people are knocking on your door. And when they're knocking on your door, you said, these are the terms that I'm going to negotiate.
You come with the terms. Yep.
That's right.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Speaking of the underground, y'all got to pray for me. Tomorrow is my first time in years that I'm recording a 5-song EP with my beats on the artist. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, there will be no morning motivation show tomorrow because I'm going to be making this roadcaster record vocals into Ableton. Like, real talk. Like, I haven't done this in years. But y'all got to pray for me tomorrow at 11 a.m. I'm recording from 11 to 3 p.m. 5-song EP for an artist. The beats I was sitting on, the session I was supposed to have like 3 weeks ago, is happening tomorrow at 11 a.m. So that's what I'm up to. The artist I'm working with, his name is LAW. He's produced and produces for George Clinton, members of Princeton of Revolution. He's been on tour with Amy Winehouse. He's literally a child of the funk music. And then I have 5 beats for him. I told him a month ago, write to them. He wrote to them. He's coming over tomorrow to record because I have to take the beats that I think that are trash that somebody else thinks is gold and let God do the increase. Real talk. Like,
that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. I have some old stuff and even stuff that I've written, and I've played it for people, and they're like, yo, this is fire. I'm like, yo, I made this man long ago. What you talking about? Like, I made this in like 2010. They're like, what? I can still use it. I'm like, okay. So what's somebody else's, what's considered trash to you might be somebody else's treasure. So those throwaway beats, don't throw them away.
No, that's a bar. What you said is a bar, fam.
We'll throw that away. That's some money.
Because he was in my laptop. Yo, let me get this. Yo, let me. I was like, bro, that's 2016. You don't see the date? I haven't made it be. I was like, I said, yo, I want this, bro. I made that in your face in 2011. You don't remember that? All 5 of those tracks is from 2011 to 2018. We in 2023.
Right.
What you just said was gold. Your throwaway beats might be somebody's new Grammy Award winning album, and that, like, we never know. We sitting on greatness here, but. That's for another topic for another show, and that's another show that Queen Nexus will be on. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm going to beg her. I'm going to have conversation with her husband. Hey, hubby, how are you? Listen, can we please get time? You know what I'm saying? Please. I'm gonna beg. She knows I'm probably gonna blow him up on the internet. I'm like, yo, she did her thing. Everybody give it with the Queen Nexus for coming on the show today. Hold up. Let me not use the AI clap. Let me use my hands. We ain't using no AI clap. Let me use my hands. No AI clap. Thank you. Your input has been a blessing. Your insight has been a blessing. And guess what? I cannot wait for the new music to drop because I know how you produce, and that's crazy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be. I'm gonna get back in it. Yeah, for real this time.
For those who don't believe me, go to her TikTok. I'll have all her stuff listed there with the updated description. Fellas, you have anything you want to say at all? The Queen Nexus before we depart?
Thank you so much for joining us and adding your input. It was definitely well needed, and we love it hearing it from your perspective. I also like to, no problem. A dope female producer that I forgot is Georgia and Muldrow. I love hearing her beats. Georgia and Muldrow. She produced for Erykah Badu. She sung on Erykah Badu. Declaim is her husband, and Declaim, I believe, I don't think it was a real battle with Lord Finesse and Declaim. They had like a song together and something.
Oh, like Georgia and Muldrow.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I gotta text me that because I want to look into that. I like new producers.
Yep. Yeah. She's not new.
No, to me, but what's new, what's old to y'all is new to me. Like, cause this is what I'm talking about. Why aren't female producers pushed to the forefront where they're up there with the Pharrells and the Timbalands? Like, that's a problem. I think that's dumb, but that's neither here nor there. DC?
Like,
got something. Yes. I'm definitely gonna see her new stuff.
I would just definitely say, as well as everybody, just do your grind. You know, sometimes our music, we can be hard on it because it's a part of us. But at the end of the day is, you know what you may feel is just burps, snorts, and farts may wind up actually sounding like powerful, something that changes people's lives. I always sit back and tell folks is that the thing is that when Salt with a Deadly Pepper, they were trying to, I think that was the album, they were trying to find a song to put on there. So they just threw one, they recorded in the bathroom, and it was the biggest one. People don't realize Push It was recorded in the bathroom, and they threw it on there.
What?
And so that's that thing of, and you'll listen to a lot of songs, even Human Nature was just a song that was on the back, it was mistakenly on the back of a tape of other stuff, and they wind up getting it. And the only reason they wind up hearing it is because the tape heard the initial songs, and then you know how it'll flip over. It flipped over, and Quincy Jones heard, "What's this Why song? Why? What's that about?" So I would just say go with it, and I can't wait to please keep us posted because I can't wait to hear your fire and your heat.
Thank you. I will.
Everybody go to these creators' pages, go to their link in bio, support them financially. Listen, it's an independent grind here. We are independent content creators, independent musicians. Bless our Cash Apps and our PayPals and what we're doing so we can create more content like this. Everybody, thanks for being here for episode 5 of Making Better Track Show. Thank you so much and have a great day. We'll see you on the back end. Peace.